like a lot of you, I needed a part-time job to help cover tuition and other expenses. After a long search, I found what seemed like the perfect job. It was a caregiver position, working from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., taking care of elderly people. The job was pretty straightforward. Make sure they took their meds, had their meals, and just hang out with them for a few hours. I got assigned to take care of this 85-year-old lady. Let's call her Mrs. Eleanor to keep things anonymous.
Oof.
She lived alone in this quaint little house on the edge of town. The place was old but well kept, with a charming, slightly overgrown garden that probably hadn't seen a gardener in a few years. She had a small poodle named Max, who was always by her side, following her around everywhere she went. From the start, the house felt off. There were no family pictures anywhere. I mean, you would think at her age, she would have photos of kids, grandkids, maybe an old lover or something. But no, nothing. It was weird. The walls were bare except for a few generic paintings.
Hello, Cincinnati.
I asked her about it once, just casually during a conversation, but she brushed it off and changed the subject real fast. She had this look in her eyes, a mix of sadness and something I couldn't quite place. I didn't push it because I didn't want to lose the job, but it definitely made me curious.
You're looking low, darling.
My daily routine was simple enough. I would get there around 5 p.m., cook dinner,
Just a
make
little
sure
low.
she took her meds,
Not real bad.
and just keep her company for a few hours. Max, the poodle, was a friendly little guy, always happy to see me, wagging his tail and jumping around despite his age. Mrs. Eleanor, though, was polite but pretty reserved. She didn't talk much about her past or family, which just added to the mystery. Our conversations were always pretty basic, like talking about the weather or what was on the news. Every evening as I cleaned up after dinner, I would hear Mrs. Eleanor singing a lullaby. It was the same soft, melodic tune every night, echoing through the quiet house. While the song was gentle, it really creeped me out. It felt so out of place in the otherwise silent house. She sang it every night, like clockwork, and it always made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Sometimes I would find myself pausing my cleaning just to listen. The whole situation was unsettling. The house, the lack of family photos,